Well, well. I can already see some of you are waiting because you've heard the news that has broken what, like 5 minutes, 20, 15 minutes ago. I don't even know my numbers anymore. Spurs are making moves. People are upset. They don't understand why we can't make those moves. People don't understand money, how it works, or how the Europa League final has screwed us up royally for a very long time. How many times I have to tell you? I was there. I know exactly just how bad this situation is. I knew it at the time. And unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about it properly, aren't we? So, wherever you are, let's get the lights going. If you are listening after the fact, then please, on the listening platform that you're on, just get in the comments and let me know what you're thinking in general about this current state of Manchester United and what we have to talk about moving forward. So, waiting for a few more people to join the chat. If you're on TikTok, please come over to YouTube, link in the bio, just to get the subscribers up. Actually, before we get into anything sad, right? Before we get into anything negative, I'm just going to look at where we're at in terms of subscriber count. And you guys have been killing it, by the way. We are on 6,257 as things stand, which is just mental. Again, I keep saying it. I think we're on 3,000 less about 6 weeks ago, which is absolutely awesome. And I'm seeing there's 13 of you in here. Get in the comments, just let me know what you're thinking in general and get the likes going up on this video. Thank you all very much for joining, and thank you all for giving me the time that you continuously give me. I appreciate every single one of you. Now, on to let's let's go on to the slightly negative side, right? And Daniel has kind of mentioned it there that Spurs are moving mad, right? If you've just joined, you have no idea what we're talking about. And someone just said on TikTok, Lewis is saying that this news has rattled him. I can understand it. But Spurs, if you don't know, they have just signed Mohamed Kudus. They confirmed that yesterday. Well, Spurs haven't confirmed that. Romano and Ornstein have confirmed it, which is as good as gold these days. Mohamed Kudus is going to Spurs, and Morgan Gibbs White today, literally 15 minutes ago, has gotten a here we go to Spurs as well. That's two players in 2 days. Morgan Gibbs White was linked earlier today, and about 2 or 3 hours later, like Danielle has said, it is pretty much wrapped up. Ornstein hasn't said it, but pretty much they have done it. And Denenke has just mentioned on TikTok saying Spurs are moving like a bigger club than us. No, they're not. Spurs are just moving like the club that beat us in the Europa League final. That is what's happened here, people. Because you got to remember, it's not just about winning the title, and winning a trophy, which is great for them, but they also get Champions League football. Spurs, all of a sudden, are in a fantastic position because they've signed those two players. Now, the thing that I'm slightly not concerned about because I don't give a crap, but what's interesting about them is I'm a plant. It's bad when Levy is spending 100%. But what's interesting about the news that's just coming out of Spurs with these transfers is that it's not really expected from them. Like I expected them to go in and like not spend stupid amounts of money early on, but the Kudus deal is a bit of an awkward one because I think Kudus is a really good player. He's a fantastic player actually, but I hate the way he's burned bridges with West Ham. He's got suspended for 5 games last season, I think, for slapping a couple of Spurs players. Where they're going to fit in the system that Thomas Frank plays, what system is he going to play? Obviously, it's all new. Is he going to have more advanced forwards, similar to what he had at Brentford, or is he going to use the players to his availability? What does that do for Kulusevski, for Maddison, for Brennan Johnson? Let's face it, they are better than all of them. So they have added some serious quality to the team. Would I be happy with having Mohamed Kudus at Man United for 55 million? Million percent, yes, I would. But at the same time, would I be happy about the Morgan Gibbs White deal? Genuinely, no. I don't think Morgan Gibbs White is the type of player that we should be going after. I think he's a good player for them to get. But 60 million quid, I wouldn't be happy with that type of deal. And it's just a release clause deal. So the only thing that I can give you to sort of help you feel a little bit better, make sure that you're liking up the video wherever you are. But to make you feel a little bit better, it's just a release clause deal. Like, it's a release clause in the contract. They've triggered it. Not rocket science, is it? You know, we did it for Cunha. We got that deal over the line very quickly. He's already signed. He's already in the building training. So in terms of, being annoyed at the fact that we're not moving as quickly, I hear it, but it is just a simple release clause being triggered. So there's no need to get triggered yourself at the moment, but I can understand why people are annoyed. And that's what I want to get in the first few minutes of the video. But wherever you are, drop a like, just so we can have some fun. Because wherever you drop a like, I've been learning about like algorithms and stuff like that. But if you just drop a like on the video, wherever you are, then it just encourages more people to join. So if you're live, then that'll get more people in to join the live conversation. But also, if you are watching after the fact, then it still gets people involved too. So it is what it is. And I think people are asking, how am I not annoyed with signing one player in 6 weeks? Of course I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed at the fact that we can't sign, but I'm also realistic as to why we can't. Last season we hadn't made any signings by this point. We made two. I know Leon was in January, but that's not over the line now. And I think last season the first signing was a Tom Heaton deal. The season before that, it was worse. So no, last season we didn't make any before the 14th of July. The season before that, it was Tom Heaton. The season before that, it was worse. So we are unfortunately doing better, but it's just not good enough. And I understand that. I do understand that. And it's not nice to have to say those words and clutch at straws, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm clutching at straws, but that's all we've got at the minute. And I'm a plan is asking the question. Luke, for anyone who's asking, always a legend in the super chats and with now a member of the channel, which is amazing. If you are new to the channel, by the way, if you're on TikTok, click the link in the bio, come over to YouTube, because we're going to talk about some players specifically. And I want to make sure that I've got all of the pictures next to me. So do that on YouTube, link in bio, come over and subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, make sure that if you want to get your comments live on the channel in the video, then either become a member so that we can highlight you, or drop a super chat and I'll make sure I get to every single one of them today. Now, Luke has said, the thing is though, Dev, how can we be this slow? We should know the budget approach in the window, so know what we can and can't spend. Incompetence. I hear it. I do hear it. At the same time, though, we can't be overspending anymore. This is what the Europa League unfortunately has done, is that we were always in the mindset of not overspending, but now we genuinely can't overspend even if we want to, just to get deals over the line, because it will cripple us. These few millions that we're saving, it's going to really save us in the long run, and I'm afraid the long run starts now, and it is going to be a long process. The rebuild started, I think, last season in terms of transfers. I think we were better with transfers than we have been in ages. The net spend was better. We had in terms of the revenue being brought in, it was higher than most. So like most transfer windows over the past 10 seasons. So it will be okay. But I've said it on the United View when I was on there. I think it just takes one domino to fall in order for the rest to go. You guys might have seen today that Garnacho posted another cryptic Instagram story saying coming ... We all know that he doesn't want to come back to Manchester United, but he's on a plane. Is that plane headed to Manchester? Is it headed to Italy? That's honestly what we're looking at now. I hope it's Italy and he can just get a deal done with Napoli. The Napoli sporting director has come out and said, something's wrong at Manchester United and all this. Yeah, historically there is, but right now, no. And you can get off your high horse for a little bit. You've won 2 league titles in 40 years. So don't get on to us about that sort of stuff. We've won about 18. So, 13. But yeah, I think it's going to be a long one, and I think it is real. And Martin has said that we should have option 2 and option 3. I feel like Burma is our only option. I don't think so. I think he's our main guy, and we want him for the right price. What would you prefer? You'd either go to number 2 just because number 1 was taking too long, or would you stick with number 1 and make sure you got the deal that you get to? If we still end up in a point where we don't have any deals going through, and Mbermo is just taking ages and it's just not working out in the next 2 weeks, then yeah, you got to move on, because that's when the preseason tour starts. The game against Leeds, I don't really care. That's in Sweden. It's not part of the real US tour. I don't think anyone's really going to care about that. It's just a bit of a jolly to get sorted out before preseason and make a bit more money for both clubs now that the rivalry is going to intensify again. But I understand why people are irritated, and I understand why people are losing patience. I am as well. I'll be honest, I'm losing patience at this moment in time, because before I would say to you, yeah, exactly. Simon has just said it there. We've been signing option twos and threes for so long. We need to lock down our main targets. I do agree with you. But I've been saying for so long, guys, calm down. Newcastle aren't making moves. Tottenham aren't making moves. Like, Arsenal aren't making moves. Everyone is now. So we're just not in a position financially to make them as quickly as the other ones. It's not a choice of ambition. I think our hands are tied. But then you get a deal for Garnacho over the line to get good amounts of money squeezed out, which is pure profit coming from a club outside of the Premier League, ideally. Things will move quickly. So that's what I'm saying. We need to wait for the first domino to fall in this situation. And this is where the kind of more positive side comes out. And bear in mind, if you are new around here, this is the non-toxic Manchester United channel. I try my best to make sure that we keep it as positive as possible. But also, I'm realistic in terms of where we are. I am realistic in terms of what this looks like. I'm not going to paper over the cracks. Like this isn't a good optic situation. This isn't good at all. If we end this week again with no Mbermo deal, I'll lose real excitement for it. Like, I'll be happy once he signs, if he does at this point, because you'd be a bit weird not to be worried about that. But some of the key people that I hear in terms of journalists, they're not worried. They're just sort of understanding Man United's position. Maybe people are looking at it like we're just digging our feet in the sands and being too much. But there are positives that we need to talk about. Do you know what I mean? Please keep your language to a minimum in the chat. I understand people are annoyed, but we need to calm down just a little bit. And Luke, I'm totally understanding what you're saying. Luke is saying this could all be solved with some communication from the club. Thing is, though, what would you prefer? Like, I get what you're saying, but then let's imagine a world where we started talking and just talking, and saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do stuff. We've got a plan. We've got this," but then nothing actually happens. That would make you annoyed even more. Unfortunately, that David Ornstein piece, which didn't really say that we are close to sorting a deal out or anything like that. That piece said about Mbermo wants to join us and that we want to make it happen. We're going to explore a deal. That was right at the beginning of everything, and it was probably led by Mbermo's camp. So I think that just put an unnecessary timeline on everything, because really, like, Tottenham aren't just looking at Gibbs White today and then just getting it out there. Do you know what I mean? And the same with Kudus. That was since last season they were interested. So, they're taking a long time. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a difficult one, and I understand why people are annoyed. But at the same time, there are some real positives to talk about, and I agree kind of what Kenji's saying. You don't need to be too open. You don't need to be open to attacks from the media and get potential players all riled up. And Simon, who has been a massive patron of the channel, shout out to Simon and Kenji and Luke and all these people that I've been spoken about already. All of them are members of the channel. All of them always donate and give love as much as possible. And it's just amazing to see you guys always showing love to the lives, which is what I love. But Simon is saying, I'm honestly worried about that Amrim could walk if INEOS don't back him properly. He's one of the most sought after young managers in Europe. We can't afford to mess this up. You're right, Simon. You're right. But there's another thing that people do forget about Amrim, that people forget about the current system and the current state of players. So the first thing, all of the ones that have come in for preseason training already, they all look trimmer, they all look better, they all look more athletic. I think what Amrim has been saying since last season is starting to come home to roost. They are all making sure that things are happening. MA, I'm the one who chooses all the comments, but if you drop a super chat or become a member, it becomes a lot more clear to me. So don't worry. If I see something and I agree with you or want to talk about it, it will come up on screen. Goes out for everyone. If you want to get your comments on screen, drop a super chat or become a member on the channel. It really helps to support the lives and support what I'm trying to do here, because like I say, I'm trying to be the non-toxic. Well, no, I'm not trying to be. This is the most non-toxic and healthiest platform for Manchester United fans in the world. Because I could easily just be here screaming and shouting. Do you know what I mean? I could easily be here like, oh, they are a form of Glazers. They're just like this. Like, I know exactly what's going on at the club. I understand it all. So I know, I don't know insider knowledge about what's going on at the club, to be clear, but I understand why it's slow. I also understand why people are annoyed. So it's not about tit for tat. It is just about having good, healthy conversations about the football club. And one of the things that I do want to say is that I have the patience of a monk. Riley, don't get me wrong. I have patience. I'm still not happy. Yes, MA, anyone who's asking if you want to become a member, yes, it does cost money depending on which tier you want to use. But if you want to drop a super chat, you can donate whatever you want for that specific chat. And becoming a member just means I can see you more clearly, and you will monthly be giving more to the DevFC channel. And all we're trying to do is build this into the biggest community of all. And straight away, you don't have to do any of this. Just subscribe, just like the shows, get involved in the comments and share it around, because the more people involved in this, the better. I want to make sure that we can all enjoy this as much as possible. At the end of the day, this is all because of Glazer debt. Of course it is. Of course it is. Oh, but INEOS saved them. No, they didn't. INEOS weren't even. The Glazers had an offer to take the full club and they didn't accept it. Dev, would you ditch Mbermo and sign Gyökeres instead? I have a feeling that since Arsenal are stalling, we might have a shot. I'm absolutely certain that Gyökeres won't work out at Manchester United, purely because we cannot figure it out. We cannot figure out a way to make Gyökeres work without the midfield and things being fixed. Connor, I like this comment. Realistically, people are upset because of the quick Spurs overs, but step back from the timeline of the signings, and Burma and Cunha versus Kudus and MGW is basically the same level of signing. Fantastic comment. It is. And I'm personally much happier about that. INEOS have invested more in the club than the Glazers. Of course they have. So I'm glad there are people here that speak sense. Martin has pointed out, Martin, don't worry, I see you in the lives regularly as well, my brother. Thank you very much for stopping by once more. Guys, if you're on TikTok, come over to YouTube, because I can see the comments a lot more clearly and I can manage things a little bit better. Also subscribe. We're trying to hit 10K before the start of the season. Sorry, the summer's already begun. I'm hot as hell. I'm actually sweating and I'm tired. So please click the link in the bio, come over, and let's make this community as big as it can be. But Martin Mitev has said, what about the Vlahovic links? Really never watched him. Is he good? He is very clumsy, and I think he's going to get found out even more in the Premier League, is my honest opinion. But the funny thing is that there has been talks by Demartio and some other big like outlets in Italy. Whether they're true or not, I don't know. But the thing is, I just don't see it working out. And they are looking to potentially get rid of his contract. And you don't want players that have been terminated elsewhere to come to you. That's not really a good look. We don't need Gyökeres. Let's get Mbermo on a good striker so we don't have to put enormous pressure on Cunha and Leon. I don't think Leon's going to be a starter, but I hear what you're saying. The main issue with United the past 10 years has been with recruitment, said Vidic during Gary Neville's interview. I was literally just watching that. And yeah, completely agree with it. As do I agree with Luke, who says INEOS saved the club from the Glazers. The Glazers were never going to go for a full sale. INEOS saw a chance to at least do something. And they have been doing something. Let's be honest, guys. The money that's coming in to revamp Carrington, which has already been done, by the way, which no one seems to be talking about, is from them. And as we talk about Carrington and as we talk about things in a more positive light, I think there are some serious positives to take from some of the moves that have been made in the transfer window so far, as well as some of the other noises that are coming out of Manchester United, because it's quite nice to see things that aren't just full on negative constantly. So we already know about this one, right? We already know about Diego Leon moving to Manchester United. He is officially in the door. He looks good. It's a completely painless type of signing. It's a really nice signing, and I like the fact that this is what we're moving towards now. A 17-year-old kid who's showing a lot of potential, but also seems to have his head on his shoulders and have his feet on the ground. He's doing things properly. I love the fact that his dad, in reference to it, said about his son, do not mess this up. You know, you got a 4-year contract. Make sure that you work as hard as you can for 4 years to make it a proper, to have a good go of it and to do it properly. And this is something that you don't usually see from the people that we've been signing. Like, how far of a cry is that type of deal away from when we were signing the likes of Alexis Sanchez or any of those types of players? Like, it's so far away from what we've been doing. And I'm really happy to see us move in a more positive direction. Genuinely, it's nice to see. And I think these are really positive signs for Manchester United and positive signs for Manchester United fans, because, you know, Diego Leon says, Kenji mentioned, that Diego Leon is shaking everyone's hand during lunchtime. Like, the combination with everything he said on social media, absolutely is beautiful. And Riley has mentioned, I really hope he doesn't end up like Pellistri. Well, the thing is with Pellistri, we still profited from it. And it was still a good opportunity to take. Do you know what I mean? So if he ends up like Pelistri, this is kind of the point. If he doesn't end up like Pelistri, if he ends up like Antonio Valencia, we just don't know. But the fact that we're making these deals is great. And I would look at someone like Diego Leon and I would say that is an archetypal Brighton signing, or maybe a Brentford, or maybe a Wolves. And that doesn't mean that we have to lower ourselves to their level. It doesn't mean that we are lowering ourselves to their level. It means that we're getting in first with these clubs that have incredible recruitment structures in terms of profiting from their signings, but also we're not waiting anymore to do stupid things. Do you know what I mean? And it's nice. And look, Rob has mentioned it here. I think that's the best we can get with certain players because both are Woodward legacy. He's talking about some of the players that we are talking about trying to get rid of. You know, Woodward legacy issues with the wages and things, like the amount of damage that's been done to the club is what INEOS are trying to reverse. And these types of signings do it. Good to see you, Math and Martin. Really appreciate the comments. And like I say, this is about building a community. This is about doing things properly. So please, guys, if you're on TikTok, come over to YouTube because this is where we talk most. I can see every single comment here. And I want you guys to subscribe because where are we at the moment? Live count. We are at 6,265. We've already gained we gained 8 more subscribers in this live alone. And you know what? Wherever you are, if you want to come over to YouTube, please click the link in bio, subscribe because we're trying to grow that to 10K before the beginning of the season with an insane giveaway ready for the person who helps us get there. But also, if you like TikTok, follow on TikTok. Make sure you do. FTR, appreciate you. And let me know if you come over from TikTok on here or if you've just subscribed, and I'll shout you out in the live as much as I can. But this is also what Timon has been saying about the Pelistri deal. United made a profit on him as well as having a 45% sell-on clause. It's just good business. It is good business. The only thing we can be realistic is if we don't have the money, we can't spend it. We're no longer spending what we don't have. Thank you, Luke. We historically have. We have been spending money that we don't have. Appreciate you, Akid, has just come over from TikTok. But seriously, guys, Diego Leon is a fantastic signing. Not just in terms of the type of signing that can make it into the first team, but it's the type of signing to get excited about. This is a very good player. Watching him at Cheddar Porteño, like, I've only been able to watch really the highlights, but this is a fast, stocky, strong type of winger that we've been begging for at the football club. We've genuinely wanted a player like him for ages so that Luke Shaw can get the hell out. Do you know what I mean? Like, Luke Shaw will be phased out of the club. The fact that we started the Europa League final with Luke Shaw says everything about where we've been. And Luke, I've been watching Tanaka. I hear what you're saying, brother. So let's see what happens in the rest of the window. Will he help now, Dev? Is what Man Lutata is asking about Diego Leon. Yes, he will. Because like I said, the fact that Luke Shaw, out of necessity, basically had to start the Europa League final because we didn't have someone better than him and fresher than him at that point. You get more players in, then all of a sudden you don't have that option. And Diego Leon, I really like his mentality. I love what he's saying. It all just depends on how he plays. Right? Let's just watch him in preseason and let's see it happen because already I think it's going to go well. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he's going to perform. So let me know what you think about Diego Leon because I think that is one of the signings to actually genuinely be excited about. He is a good egg at the very least. I think he's got a good support network. He's got a good family system around him. It's nice. It is really nice to see. And equally as nice to see is the signing that we got over the line today, which was a here we go for a very long time, but he has joined the football club now to go out on loan. It's Enzo Kana-Biyik, and I'm not even going to pretend like I know much about the dude, all right? I don't know much about Enzo Kana-Biyik. All I know is that he's come from the same academy system where Riyad Mahrez came from and Paul Pogba came from. Le Havre, one of the most famous academy systems in France. And he's come over to join Manchester United. And I've looked at some of the clips. He looks like a decent little player. But the brilliant thing is that we have now got him and we've sent him straight on loan to FC Lausanne in the Swiss Pro League, I imagine. So this is another thing as well about signings like him and going to the Swiss Pro League and using our multi-club model and all of that stuff. How do you feel about that? Because there's some fans that I've been hearing, they're not happy about just buying a player and sending on loan. I'm sorry. William Saliba was brought and sent on loan. Like, a lot of players have had this happen to them, and it's a good thing. And you know what's really interesting about this is that it reminds me, okay, I'm gonna just check the age of the group, guys. Get the likes up. We're on 4K. Let's get it to 10. And on YouTube, I think we're on about 24. Let's get up to 50 likes minimum. But I want to ask you guys a question, right? Do you remember when Manchester United used to have a linked affiliate deal, like loan system, with Royal Antwerp? Do you remember that? Who remembers when we used to have a genuine loan system with a team called Royal Antwerp in Belgium? Who remembers that? Come on, please don't tell me I'm too old. Yep, you remember it. Good. Because I remember, like, if you go down a certain level of, like, what am I saying? Like a certain period of time. Sorry, if you go down a certain period of time, maybe around 2008 or nine is maybe when it ended. But go down to any of those like players that we had in the academy by then, and all of them went there. I remember Richie Delat went there, which is Simajai just mentioned. I remember Johnny Evans went there. I think Gibson went there. Everyone did that. We were in that. We thought, oh, you got a chance. They all went out on loan, and that's really nice to see. I genuinely used to like seeing us do that, and it is really nice to see. And like Rob is just saying here, as much as I don't like the first team transfer slowness, the moves being made on youth and the future leaves me with a good feeling. INEOS is building for the future here, and it's a long time coming. Listen, guys, this I completely agree with you, Rob. And I want to say something directly to the camera, right? I'm going to go on YouTube. So, guys, link in bar, come over to YouTube and subscribe as soon as you get there. What are we on now? We're on 6,272. 7 of you have done it from last time. Come on, come over. Let's see if we can hit 6.3 today. It's a tall order, but there's 72 people in the TikTok chat right now. If all of you came over and went over to YouTube and subscribed and joined the live, we could hit 100 in the live, and also we can hit some of our subscriber goals as well. So please, if you can do that, that would be amazing. But I'm going to say something down the camera to you now. What we're doing at the minute, right, in terms of buying these players and, you know, loaning them out or getting good deals and all this sort of stuff, I'll just answer you this question. If we were doing this regularly, like we've done the past 2 seasons, if we'd done it for the past 10, we wouldn't be in this situation right now, either financially or through the quality of the squad. Even if we lose. What's up, Kofi? Yes, come on YouTube, brother. I want to see you in there. Everyone go subscribe. Go follow Kofi, by the way. Elite content creator. But seriously, I don't think if we had INEOS doing this from 10 years ago, we would not be in the situation that we're in today. We're being smart with our youth players and not letting them rot on the bench. Some of you might look at this and be like, well, Amrim had the perfect opportunity last season to be like, he could use these youth players and use that. I don't think that was the plan. I think his plan, and this is me just being on, this is me just like semantically saying this could be, you know, what he's doing. I don't know. I've not spoken to him or I have anything else to say. But what I would say about this is that I don't think it was his plan to get all the youth players in the worst situation possible and make them try and float. I don't think he was very happy that he had to do it with Aiden Heaven, which we'll talk about shortly as well, because there's some news on him, some positive news. He wanted to see who was worth it and who wasn't. And straight after, he's there saying, like, players like, you know, Garnacho's not part of his plans, Rashford, Anthony, you know, all of them are not part of it. So it's clear what he's trying to do. And look, I'm a plan. Luke, I love this, what you're doing now, brother. Luke says this is key scouting, that they are literally trying to buy world-class players before their value skyrockets. That's what we're doing. Because let's say we sign Enzo Kana-Biyik for, I don't know, million quid. We sell him for 20. Let's say Chido becomes an okay striker. And we sell him for 15. But then what if they both become brilliant and we bought them for 1 million each? Do you see what I'm saying? It's the same with Aiden Heaven, which I'll get to shortly. But the first super chat of the day has come through. It's none other than Simon Mwangi, who was gifted like 25 to 30 members. I've lost count, brother. He's gifted like 30 members to the Dev FC cause, and it's just an absolute legend. If you want to ensure that your comment gets onto the channel and gets onto the video, drop a super chat, because they get immediately highlighted the moment I see it, or become a member and we'll show you some love as well for showing love to the channel. W for Simon's in the chat, because I love absolutely everything that he's just said. Short-term pain for long-term gain hurts, but it's smart. INEOS aren't moving fast. First team signings, but fixing departments like recruitment gives hope. Exactly. Exactly. And just while you guys are talking to each other, I'm just going to have a look in Twitter to see if we're missing anything, to see if there's anything we need to be talking about on a serious note. Um, Nottingham Forest looks like that they are going for a pursuit of Johan Visser. A fresh offer has been made to Brentford for the 28-year-old Congolese striker. The bid falls under £25 million. God, I'll tell you what, Brentford are going to make a lot of money, I have to say. But it seems as though if they sign Visser, they will keep hold of Mbermo. So that is actually quite significant news. So if we drag on this deal as much as we can, this is what Academy Scoop is saying as well. Can we please get a move on? Perception matters. Allowing the Mbermo deal to drag on this long isn't a good look, as much as I'm still very confident it gets done. Look, people are still confident that it's going to happen, but I'll be honest, this is not okay. Now that the Mbermo deal is potentially at risk because of the Vissa news, it's we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. That's just news that has come out right now. And tomorrow I'm gonna go live as well. Hopefully we have some key news to talk about uh the lives that we're talking about. But Luke, thank you very much for dropping in. Much love to you as well, my brother. And Ben Jacobs has apparently mentioned that Islam Simlani was kicked out by Amorim during his sporting time. He does it now with Rashford and Garnacho. Exactly. Like this is, I'm going over the place, but this is what we need to just calm down on, because there are going to be players that leave. We want them to leave now. We've been wanting them to leave for a very long time, but the optics and the financial just aren't working for us right now. But I say to you now, you're gonna, if you've just joined the show, you're definitely gonna come to me and say, Dev, why are you talking about youth players when we need to be talking about players of the current era, of the current crop? I hear you. But the reason I'm talking about them is because, like I said just a few minutes ago, if we had done this type of business for the last 10 years, we would not be in the position that we are now, which means that in 10 years' time, it won't happen. Do you hear what I'm trying to say? So I understand why people are irritated with the lack of movement in the first team. So am I, because the Mbermo deal could be in a bit of jeopardy now, in official jeopardy, if Visser ends up going to Nottingham Forest, because we need to get a move on with that and be the first one to get our man, essentially, but only for the right price. Only for the right price. If we wait this long and succumb to their demands, no, we will have a backup. And if anything, you can look at it two ways. Either we're not saying anything, we haven't got news because there's no news to talk about, or we're saying we have no more leaks at the club. That isn't telling everyone our business. So I think it's probably the second one. I'm trying to be like, I'm trying to be, find some positives, but it is annoying. It is very annoying. And this is at the point where, people are scared about what's going to happen with the Mbermo deal. I myself am I'm a little bit weirded out by that, because that is news that has just come through. So I have to digest that a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of an awkward one if they do get him. And let's just see who gets it done first. I do think we'll have alternatives. I just don't know who those people are. But at the very least, we can be happy with our academy recruitment, and we can be happy about the news that came out today around the guy that I'm going to get up on screen. He's in the thumbnail. He's in the title. Someone that we should be talking about in a really positive light, and I'm sure we are. It's Aiden Heaven. It is absolutely Aiden Heaven. I think this kid has been a bit of a revelation since coming to Old Trafford, to be honest. And today he has talked to The Athletic, Laurie Whitwell at The Athletic, and talked about why he chose Manchester United, why he is happy with his choice and what he thinks about the future and stuff like that. It was very interesting reading, because he started talking about, that he saw a pathway for Manchester United as into play. Not just that the quality wasn't there, but because at Arsenal, they play with two at the back. We play with three. And it was a really good opportunity for him to come and join. He joined in January, of course, when Ruben Amorim had joined in November. So it's big. It's really big to see him here. And Riley, the Man United doggo, has said, love his attitude, and him and Yoro can be a partnership for years to come. Absolutely, they can. What a bargain he is, Simajaya Red Devil says. This is what I'm telling. Look, let's just live in a world where for the past 5 to 10 years, that we had one signing like this per season, how cooked would our squad be? Do you know what I mean? How amazing would our squad be? And look, Kenji, the legend that he is, look at some of the young players we're talking about here. Chido Obi Martin brought in. Kobe, obviously, through the youth setup. Dorgu, 20 odd million, still a really good signing. Kone from the Malian setup, I think it was, or the setup at one of Vivel's kind of recruitment structures. Collier, obviously, at the club. Morehouse is at the club. Fletcher's at the club. Amass. But now we've got Leon, Heaven, Enzo, and Ahmad, who are all brought in. These are all smart bits of investments. I mean, Ahmad was obviously brought in long before this. That's the best signing we've made on the Oli era, I'd probably say. Him and Cavani, personally. But there are positives. There are positives. And like Simon says there, the future does look bright. It is... I know you don't want to wait. Man United fans shouldn't really be in a position to have to wait all the time. But it's tough. It's tough. And someone has just mentioned on Twitter, and it's a pretty good idea, that with the Mbermo thing, maybe we have just put in our take it or leave it offer, and the ball's in Brentford's court. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that is the situation that we're in. But I think we know what we're doing. We know who we want. We know what number we want to pay. And unfortunately, we're not in a position to just go out and spend what we want to spend and when we want to spend it. We're not in a position to do that. And we just have to be very honest with ourselves. But you know what is interesting is that looking at Arsenal and looking at Tottenham, the way they're moving, frankly, I'm not interested in Noni Madueke. I don't know who is, bar them. I'm not interested in Morgan Gibbs-White. I would have been interested in Kudus, but I'd be heavily interested in Eze, who isn't on Arsenal's list for a similar level to Madueke, and about 5 million less than Mbermo. So there are options out there, man. There are options, but people are saying it's crazy how far the club has fallen. I hear it, man. I hear it. It's not a good time. It's not a fun time to be a Man United fan right now. It really, really isn't a fun time to be a United fan right now. But we have to just be patient in knowing that at least we are moving in some direction. Because yesterday, the news did also come out that we are revamping the recruitment team at the senior level. People are asking why it wasn't done before the start of the transfer window. I made a video poking fun at that as well, to be clear. But it was clearly a joke. It was satirical. And that's because we've got Jason Wilcox doing his thing. We've got Christopher Vivell doing his thing, along with their first team scouts and their analysts and their recruitment people. But now we want to have an official structure where instead of having a head of negotiations, whatever the hell that means, we're getting a proper head of recruitment, senior recruitment in, and head of emerging talent, which means that Vivell will focus on what he needs to do for the time that he's here. And Jason Wilcox can be in control of everything, which is what we know. And yeah, it's not great, but things have been worse in recent years. It's been far worse than anything that we've done. It's been far, far worse. So Brandon has mentioned if we don't get any players by August, don't be surprised if Ruben walks. I hear you. Yeah, if that happens, of course. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's going to happen. But I said to you before, and I'll say it again, we need to just let the first domino fall. Once the Rashford domino falls or the Garnacho one, not only does that free up money, you get into the swing of things then. You see it with all these teams, all these transfers. Because Cunha was done ages ago. Leon was done ages ago. We haven't really attacked the summer yet. I want more urgency. And there's no real excuse not to be urgent after the season that we've had. And I had a conversation with an Arsenal fan, which is basically saying like, it's being... like, it's at a point where clubs aren't going to, like, new fans aren't going to support Man United anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's not nice. And I hear it, and it's scary to think that. But I'm telling you, if we just keep doing good business, then we're fine. Mustafa says on YouTube, please, guys, if you're on TikTok, can you click the link in the bio, come over and subscribe so that we can see every single comment, because I'm paying more attention to YouTube just as a whole in my content this season. Really want to make sure I build that out as best as possible. But Mustafa has said, I actually love the Mbermo deal is taking long. Interesting. It shows us that we are not in the top. We have to pace ourselves, not only the clubs, but the fans too. I'm glad that some people can look at that and be like, I'm glad we're not just rushing into deals anymore, because that's the best way to operate. It's how every good club operates. I'm not happy I think that's a crazy word to use, or that you love it. I think that's nuts. But I hear what you're saying. It's a very good point to make that we're not just jumping into deals anymore. Second super chat of the evening. Thank you very much for this. Simajaya Red Devil has said, "Is it worth going for Son after Spurs make a signing?" Absolutely not. No, we can't go for players of that age, and he's been a bit injury prone lately. No. Um, yeah, exactly what Simon has just been saying there. Kenji has mentioned that Liverpool didn't sign anyone when they had a new coach and they still won everything. A bit optimistic, but I think United might be able to do the same. We're not going to win everything. We're not going to win anything, obviously, but it's going to be, I think there are going to be some positives that we can take for this transfer window. I genuinely think there will be. Thank you, Brandon, for the follow as well on TikTok, guys. Come over to YouTube, subscribe, and join the live. Because in the next 10 minutes, we're just going to talk about the channel, talk to each other, because there's no real other news to talk about. But I love the positivity, but signing players so late in the window could mean Ruben loses a few games early on with a tough start, and we might be headed for deja vu like last season. I hear you. I hear you. However, look at when we're talking about. We're talking about August. We're early July. The deadline that I had in mind, honestly, was the preseason tour in about 2 weeks' time. I really, really need us to start doing some deals before then. Ideally, outgoings, just get them gone, because they won't join the tour, and that will bring their value down even more. Get some outgoings gone, because if Garnacho is on the plane somewhere today, like he put on his Insta story, and he's on his way to Italy, please finalize that deal straight away. Get him gone. Get Rashford gone. Get Anthony out because he wants to go to Betis. So fair play to him. But get these moves done. We are currently on 6,277 subscribers. Thank you all so much. I think we started at 625 or something before. So please do, guys, if you're on TikTok, click the link in the bio and subscribe. How many likes are we on this video now? We're on 24, just refreshing. And we are currently sat on 37. Let's get it up to 50 if we can. If everyone in here likes it, if everyone in TikTok comes over and subscribes, we will hit that goal. So please do click the link in the bio, subscribe, and join the channel. I mean, join in the conversation, join in what we're trying to do, because like I say, we are the non-toxic Manchester United channel, and I just want to build the healthiest place for Manchester United fans to come and discuss the club, because when you have days like this, when you have times like this, it's so easy to lose your head. It's so easy to lose the sight of what everything is doing. And I think we just need to relax a little bit, and also maybe take this as an opportunity to be realistic about where Manchester United are. Do you know what I'm saying? Someone's asked me, where's the Manc accent? Where's your profile picture? But if you want, come over into YouTube and let's have a nice little chat, because now we've reached the part of the live, which is my favorite. And I just want you guys, whether it's a super chat or just a normal chat, any question that you have about United, about this channel, about any plans. This week was a pretty crazy week. So if you have any questions about what I've been up to on socials, because you might have seen it on Instagram or Twitter, which, by the way, if you go into the description of this live show, I've put all of my socials there. And I'm talking Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, like YouTube, obviously, Spotify, Facebook, LinkedIn is even in there. So whichever you guys want to follow on, if you're not doing so already, come over and enjoy the content, because I cross promote on various platforms. I cross post, but there's a lot to digest this past week in terms of my own personal life and what I'm getting up to. So if you have any questions, get them in the chat. I'm going to take a sip of water, my first sip of water of the evening, get it into the chat. Oh, Kenji is saying that there's going to be a Garnacho here we go before the weekend. Oh, that'd be brilliant. That'd be brilliant, because he needs to get out of the football club. That would be very, very nice. I'm very concerned about how successful our window would be, but we need to sign 3 players and sell floor that no one wants. Very concerned. Early days, man. I know it doesn't feel that way, but we just need to let that first domino fall. That's the last time I'm going to say that, because I remember that people are listening to this and it's just going to be jarring for them. But we will get better at that. We will definitely get better at that. Meanwhile, I'm just going to go get in the chat with any super chats or any chats in general, and I'll try and make sure I see it. And if you're still not a member of the channel, make sure that you become one, because this is, we're trying to get to 100 members also. 10,000 subscribers and 100 members by the start of the season. So please let me know. That would be awesome if you can try and do that for the channel, because we'll make sure that we get as much content out as possible in the season. So yeah, please do that. I'm just looking at Twitter now to see if there's any news that I can bring to you. Uh, people are talking about a deal, an offer that we're trying to make for Chouameni. Yeah, it's not happening. Didn't know he wanted a new contract. That's interesting. It's not. People are still annoyed about the Mbermo thing and things like that. I hear it, but I do hear it. There's no but. I do hear it. People are already posting what our team is going to look like. Jesus, chill out, chill out, people. No real news. No real news to talk about. Someone's talking about Isaac Torre in the TikTok chat as a 6'9" centre back. You're saying interesting. Justin Doherty, very good question. If Vissa goes to Forest, does that rule out Mbermo? I think it personally. I think it might. I think it might. Which is, yeah, which feels sad. It feels like we're 2-0 down at halftime. We are the comeback kings, though. Napoli just won the league, so it's a cheap buy. I think, not to mention the directors put out statements about Garnacho. True. Why would a director put out statements about Garnacho if he's not interested in signing him? That's a very good point, actually. What is everyone saying in the chat earlier today? What is your idea about not letting Amazon crew to film our season? Also, wouldn't you think that it might give some of the players extra kick to work harder? Plus, bonus question, are you from Manchester? So the first question, I'm very glad that we're not doing that because I don't think the money adds up. I also don't think any of the clubs that were in a transitional period or in a down period who did it came off looking good. I think Spurs came off looking poor and Arsenal looks stupid. Like, I know Arteta's done well now or recently, still hasn't won anything, but he's done well. But him holding up a light bulb and him doing all this, like, I still remember these things and I still can't take him seriously. We're already in a situation where people don't take us seriously. So I don't want any of that. And am I from Manchester? No. So I'm from Birmingham. I've been up to Manchester loads of times, obviously, to watch United and just in general. But yeah, I'm from Birmingham, not from Manchester. But yeah. So we aren't getting Mbermo. I still think we are. But if Vissa gets there first, I think it'll be even tougher. And I don't think we can deal with that right now. Last few questions, just so I can get through to the end. Let's see. Napoli signed Lang. So Napoli to Ghana, chances might have gone. They were separate deals, mate. Don't worry about that. Wasn't Liverpool doing the same with Amazon until Ahmad kicked them out of the FA Cup? 100%. Yes, they were. I think it was Sky. I don't think it was Amazon, though. The Amazon thing not happening is a great thing. The documentary would have been a distraction that derailed any chance of Ruben rebuilding the team. Exactly. It might have had some of the problem players like shifting up a little bit and not acting a fool, but act a fool. You know, if you want to do that, do that. I'd rather show your true colors. I'm so gutted about Garnacho's attitude because he really is talented, but nobody is bigger than the club or the manager. Exactly. Exactly. I'm only going to start to panic when the league starts. I swear if Mbermo doesn't sign by then, I think he will. But let's just see. There's a lot of stuff going on at the minute. Someone saying breaking news, United have signed Calvert-Lewin. No, we haven't. Stop believing everything that you read. It's crazy. But yeah, last few minutes, get your final super chats in. Get your, if you want to become a member of the channel as well, get that in. But more importantly, just get your comments in. And guys, on TikTok, I'm going to be leaving you a little bit early. So I'm actually going to leave you guys now. But make sure you're following here if you haven't already. But if you want to continue the conversation or join the lives a lot more clearly when the lives come through, then please click the link in the bio right now, and join the YouTube channel. Okay. Thank you guys for your kind comments. I can see them all as well. Really, really appreciate it. But come on, click the link in the bio and join the YouTube channel. Subscribe right now because we are currently on, what are we on? We are on 6,279 subscribers. If all of you right now came in and subscribed on YouTube, we'd hit 6.3 in a heartbeat. So come on, click the link in bio and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next live. They will come thick and fast, really. They really will. So please do click the link in the bio and come over. I'm going to leave now. Last chance, link in bio, YouTube, subscribe right now. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. And to all of you who are still sticking by, as always, you are just absolute legends. And we are currently on 6,279, and we have, can I just say, we have been growing brilliantly lately. We have honestly been growing fantastically, and I'm really, really happy with how things have been going. Like I have to say, like I know that the growth of the channel and things like that isn't something you want to hear about. But personally, I'll never grow tired of telling you how much I appreciate this because I'm hoping that these can lead to different opportunities. And I want to become more of a face in the football world. You know, I want to go on Sky Sports. I want to go on TNT. I want to go on these big BBC. I want to go on these big channels and to like establish myself as a bit of a face. And with the tone that I'm taking, like I will never change. I'll always be, you know, I'll always be the calm one. I want to make sure that it does happen. So please, guys, if you can subscribe or even just share this show or share the channel to people that you like or people that you think might enjoy it, then it would just be really nice to see some new faces in here as always. Side note, Killer Beard. Thank you very much, Kenyon. Appreciate this. Jen, always showing some love in the chat, like always. So I appreciate it. But look at this as an example, right? We've got Rants and Bants and Lee Gunner who are talking about, who was an Arsenal fan and a Man United fan that are probably going to talk about the most toxic things. There's 3,000 people there, and there's currently 39 in here. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be difficult to build out this community to get away from the toxic nature of what everyone else is doing. But I think we can do it. If everyone here just shared the channel, talked to their friends about it, got everyone involved, and we're able to have these conversations with more and more people, then it's best. It's the best that we can do. Amal, what's going on? Love and Dev, you can 100% do it. You look half decent as well, Riley says. Well, thank you, Riley. It's very kind of you. Amal, how's it going? And yeah, that is it for today. I think, guys, there really is nothing else to talk about bar just telling you guys how much I appreciate the support and the love. But if you can, as I go offline, just take the link to the channel, share it about with any communities that you think would be good at enjoying this type of content. And I'll make sure that I go live regularly. I have been really like I feel like I've been quite consistent with these shows, and I've really been enjoying it. So don't get me wrong, Rob, it's your first time joining a live show. It's interesting, sensible discussion. Hope to join more of these going forward. Don't worry, there'll be plenty more. So off we go. I hope you guys have a lovely evening. If you're based in the UK like I am, it is absolutely boiling today, and it will be tomorrow. I think the next live will be tomorrow, but it's going to be hot and it'll be difficult. Hopefully we've got some news by then. Do you know what I mean? But most likely tomorrow, if not, definitely Saturday. Nigel King says, I watched the United stand last night. Really didn't enjoy the toxicity on there. Stay here, my brother. Do you know what I mean? Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you on the next live. Well, hopefully we've got Brian and Bloody Bermoji.